See Hikaru facing off against 17-year-old Pranav. Pranav yesterday had a very solid draw against Abdusattorov. What has happened here? Shall we bring up the analysis board and check out this game?
Yes. So the game went as we spoke before. It's b6 and a3. So if I'm not mistaken, this is like the Queen's Indian Petrosian line.
Yep. That's what it's called, yeah.
So bishop a6, queen c2, and bishop goes back to b7, knight c3, c5, e4, c d4, knight d4, and bishop c5. And after knight b3, knight c6. Yeah, this is one of those lines that both white and black have to be careful because there are so many similar move orders. I think I played a crazy game like this. I played against American Grandmaster Ben Feingold, and I was playing with black pieces, and it was just such a crazy game. So, but it happened like many years ago. And after knight c6, Hikaru is thinking, yeah.
It's very similar to the game that Magnus lost.
Yep.
Against Suleimanov, yeah.
Knight f3 instead of knight b3, right?
Yes. And, well, there was very important that Magnus retreated the bishop not to e7, but to d6. But here, the bishop hasn't even retreated at all. So it's the big question to take that bishop, but I will check out. I just need to input the moves. I will
F3
check out the
was
database,
played.
yeah.
F3 was played relatively quickly by Hikaru, which is an interesting move. So kind of avoiding any... No, not like knight g4 was an idea. And I'm just kind of thinking, yeah, like taking on c5 is one thing, then b takes, and you have to care of d4 square. So perhaps, even though you wouldn't mind taking in the long run, first prepare, but then f2, f3 is not necessarily the first move that comes to mind, right? Like you'd probably attempt to develop one of the bishops. Yeah, like nothing was hanging. e4 pawn was protected, so you could play bishop e2 if you're planning for short castle. You could play perhaps like bishop f4 or something if you're planning to castle long. Yep.
Okay, so they are still in the realm of the theory. Did you find anything, Yovi?
I'm just getting there.
Yeah, so just a friendly reminder for all the chess viewers. Tomorrow we start at 1 p.m. local time. So it's going to be 2 hours earlier than usually. And just don't be late, because if you're late, you might miss the whole show. And we might have tiebreak tomorrow too, right?
Exactly.
And I think it's quite likely that we will have tiebreak anyway.
Judging by the numbers,
Yes.
I think it would be a miracle if we did not have tie breaks. And yes, I've got my database up and running. F3 is not the most popular move. The most popular move by white was actually to go bishop to g5, pin the knight.
Yeah.
Another possibility was to go bishop f4, and knight takes c5 as a third option. All the way down, f3 has been played, and recently played, as in 20. Is 2021 recent these days?
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
Well, that's what in my vocabulary it is. But do you think in everyone else's vocabulary it's like
It is
no, it's
recent.
2 years
No, it's
ago?
recent,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good. We clarified that. So it was played in 2021, and after f3, black actually played bishop e7. They also tried a6.
Bishop e7 or
A6.
or a6.
Yes. And it's Alexeyev who's faced this twice. And he tried bishop e7.
Yeah. And what's the move after a6? Can you please tell us? I mean, like after a6, what white's idea? Because f3 is still kind of confusing. Is it captures c5, bishop e3, and then queen f2 in case of knight d4? I mean, that's the only, explanation I can find for f3 move. But I'm not sure if it's any good.
Well, what white tends to do in this type of positions is actually just take the bishop
Yes.
and then just go bishop e3. So.
Bishop e3, right,
And the whole idea, this is it. This is the deep point of f3.
Knight
If you
d4.
jump into to d4 with the knight, queen goes to f2. You got a square.
Mm. Yeah, that's makes sense. Yeah.
In faster time controls, of course, he's second to only Magnus. So,
Yeah. And what do you feel like Hikaru's greatest strength is?
I think his practical plays. Just rook b7.
Rook b knight b7, rook b7, and he's gonna go here, and this will be the game.
Yeah.
And nicely done, Hikaru. Rook b7,
Yeah.
winning material.
What amazes me about Hikaru that he really combines it with a lot of streaming. And at some point, like a few years back, it felt like, okay, Hikaru is the streamer who occasionally plays the tournament. this and that, and then all of a sudden he starts playing those tournaments, he's still one of the best in the world, and that was very impressive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I find that very impressive because, you know, he plays a chess game, he recaps afterwards. On his free day, he streams all day. But he seems to just win everything. You know, he won Norway Chess. Here he's playing well. He just seems to be getting better and better. And, well, Pranav taking the rook, but after rook a7, there we see handshake. Hikaru Nakamura wins, which means that he moves on to 6 points. And now everything is going to hinge on our 4 players on 5.5 points out of 7. Will Erigaisi be able to win? And the other question is, what is happening between Karthikeyan and Narayanan? So can we take a look at the Karthikeyan?